going to make me a little. Okay, let's go. Standing posture at rest, allowing the weight of the body to sink, letting the feet spread equally to the front, to the back, and to the sides of the feet, letting the knees lightly bend, lifting up the chest, dropping the chin, raising the back of the neck and the crown of the head, softening the legs on the inside, softening the lower back and the abdomen, settling the body onto the feet. Just rest with the sensations of the body, simply resting, listening for any places, maybe the shoulders, maybe the brow, maybe the jaw, the throat, or the chest, softening, allowing. Into parallel stance, turning as we move across, turning back, foot turns, the hands turn open, and again settling. Use the folding of the hips and the knees to take us down. Legs to come up, breathing in. Feel the stretch and let the stretch go. So the body, remember the body's like an elastic band that's opened up in the stretch. Feel that stretch and let the natural elasticity of the weight of the body plus the stretch returning draw you down. And finally, when you've arrived in a connected, settled position, release it again and soften into the posture. Fold. Stretch, feel the stretch, release the stretch. Sink. Fold. Stretch. Sink. So when you're sinking, knees are bending, hips are seating, the lower back's releasing, and the chest is softening. We want to try and slow these processes down so we get a really good feel for them taking place over a long period of time, maybe 3 or 4 seconds. So when we release, the whole body is changing. The whole body is coming into a different condition. As we land into our connected, upright, settled position, we finally sink deeper inside. We feel our feet pressing more deeply onto the ground. We settle. Once the settling is finished, carry on. So stretch. Everything changes. And then everything settles. Turn to the side by softening the hip. Hold. Turn to the front. Stretch. Release. And turn to the side. Hold. Stretch. Feel the stretch. Let the stretch release. And everything changes. And then settle. Lifting up. Release. Everything changes. Everything arrives at the same time. And settle. The legs. Release. Everything together. Settle. Use the legs. Release the legs, the knees, the hips, chest, the shoulders. Everything arrives and then settles. Everything arrives at the top together without stopping. Everything arrives at the bottom together without stopping. You settle. One more time. Muscles. Use some muscles and bones all over the whole body. Ward off right. Organizing your posture first from the ground, making sure you've shoulder width, making sure the front foot, the right foot is straight ahead, back foot out to 11 o'clock, the left foot to 11 o'clock. Rotating the hips into position straight forward. Make sure you're not too far over your front foot. Your center line is right in the middle. And your hips are straight forward. Now this might mean you have to turn the front hip backwards and the back hip forward. So you may find you're standing at a slight angle and you need to turn this wheel. We call this wheel it's like a millstone. And it's quite easy to stand with a millstone at the wrong angle. So we want to make sure this front hip is seated and soft. And as if it's turning backwards, as if this front hip is moving backwards. So the hips turn, and as the front hip moves backwards, this joint folds and seats, and back hip comes forwards. And what effect that has is it makes the front thigh more engaged. So you can see a vertical line from the knee to the hip to the shoulder. That's what you want to try and find in your posture. So you're not at an angle like this. Your knee is slightly forward, your hip is slightly forward. You've got a nice straight line. And that engages the muscle of the back thigh. So when the back thigh is soft, the knee moves slightly forward, and the back thigh muscle can stretch lightly. Then you get a nice stable seated waist, which the spine rises. Nice round posture of the arm with the center line of the hand on the center line of the body at the height of the throat. One span from the body to the right elbow, fingers of the left in a straight line looking into the center of the hand. One span from the body to the left elbow. Same as the push position. Push position, forward upright. Now I know you know the posture well, and I know you know the organization of the body. What we want is to feel sensations in the posture. We want to feel where the body feels held, where the body feels tight, and what we can do about it, how we can change quality. So in standing in the posture for a minute or so, we start to feel, get used to the sensations of where feels held, what we can do to let the river of melting flow through the body into both legs, pressing us onto the ground like a triangle and settling in. Feel comfortably settled in. If the ankles feel too tight, we may need to come up a bit. So just explore, allow yourself to explore what you're noticing. The knee feels too bent, allow it to come up, and just play with how you can find a more comfortable posture for yourself. Sometimes if we're too pressed onto the ground, the ankles are tight, so we need to come up a bit. Roll back, return to the side. Now the movement is with the hips, remember, it's not with the upper body. The upper body, of course, moves because it's following the movement of the center. Center line and the center of the belly turns, and with it the shoulders turn. So there's no twisting. We don't want these twists coming into the body. When the hips move, the upper body moves as well. So you don't get twisting in the fascia of the body or twisting in the shirt. They move together. So try and move your hands very, very quietly by softening your hip joint. Try and move your hands to the corner by softening the front hip joint and letting your weight sink and your hips turn. So this folding of the hip joint is what generates the turning. And it feels like you're not doing it with the hands. It feels like your hands are following the command from your waist. You're sinking and you're also softening and turning. And then you turn back. Haven't really done anything with the hands. The fingers may have dropped slightly. There's a slight movement of the hand dropping underneath as you turn back. And then when you sit back, keep the center of this front hand in place. It's as if you just sit away from it. So it's as if there's a branch here, my hand's just touching it. As I sit back, my hand just moves away from it. And it turns over as I sit. There's a slight sinking towards the back foot. There's a slight sinking of the arm, and the hand turns over. As I sit back, turns over. And you see, when I sit back, I'm still straight. As I arrive on the back foot, my left hand turns over to the belly. So it rolls over the ball, one fist from the belly. And that happens while I sit back. Now my weight is in the left foot and I'm still facing forwards. Turn open, arm down, turn back, fold in, one fist from the ear. As I move in, the body's sinking, both feet press. The wrists arrive as I arrive in the center. Press. Move my weight to the back foot. My right hand slides through my left, and my fingers separate when I'm coming forwards because the whole body is sinking, coming forwards, sinking, sinking into the push position, small push. Do that again a few times. Turn, hip joint, turn back, sit back. Make sure your waist is straight as you sit back. You haven't turned, sit back straight. Now turn, palm down, turn back, weight still in the back foot, square. Move in, sink. Wrist touch when you reach 50-50. Hands are level across the chest, press. Draw back, slide the right through the left. Move in, sink, and small push. Write that for yourselves, please. Take your time and feel the movement. First of all, feel comfortable, feel upright, feel calm and centered and stable. Soften to turn. Turn back. All the way to the back foot, sinking. Turn. The arm follows the movement of the waist, turn back. Square, forward and sink. Wrist touch, press. Draw back. Then common mistakes. As you go forward and back, your center line drifts over towards your back foot. As you move in, it drifts over towards your front foot. So you're going on a sideways movement between your feet. You want to try and move backwards in a straight line, forwards in a straight line. So your center line doesn't move across. Going forwards or backwards, your center line stays in the center. As you sit back, it stays in the center. As you move forward, it stays in the center. Try again. So your center line stays where it is. You've got the turns. Turn back. Sit back. Turn. Turn back. Move in. Go back. In. Feel stable. Release. Push. Push comes from the ground. Push doesn't come from the hands. Push comes through your whole body. Back leg expands very small amount. So the back knee opens up, but it's bent slightly, it straightens slightly. So it's like squeezing a tube of toothpaste from the bottom. When you squeeze the toothpaste at the bottom, the toothpaste comes out the top. The top is the hands, bottom is the ground, and the squeeze is the little straightening of the back leg. And when you do that, you don't want your center to move forwards. Like when you squeeze the toothpaste, you don't want the tube of toothpaste to move. The tube of toothpaste stays where it is. You squeeze it. The force comes through the tube, pushes the toothpaste out. What we want is the force, not the movement. So it's a very, very fine, small increase in pressure in the back foot, straightens the back knee, you relax the shoulders down, and the movement then squeezes out of the fingers. This is the push in Tai Chi. It doesn't come from pushing the hands out. The hands never move independently. What happens is the back leg pushes up, body relaxes down, and the arms extend. The body stays in the same place, just like the tube of toothpaste, and the force comes through to the hands. Now we can play with that a little bit if we push into a wall. If I use the wall, either here or here, to push into, I put my fingertips on the wall and I'm in the push position. I want to increase the pressure in my fingers by straightening my back leg, not by pushing my fingers into the wall, not by using my arm muscles, but by using my legs to push my fingers into the wall. That's the type of push you want to do. So when you come into the push position, it's a very small push with the leg, but because you're pushing into air, you don't really feel it in the fingers, but the fingers just expand lightly. If you do it against a wall or against a partner, you feel the increase in pressure. It comes from the ground, we borrow the force. The force from the back leg doesn't push me closer to the wall. It just comes up through me and my fingertips push into the wall. So try it against the wall, try for a minute, just try and find a bit of wall or a doorway or something firm about the same height as the fingers, and then you can just explore trying to put some pressure between the back foot and the fingertips, just a small amount of increasing pressure. So your body is aligned from your fingertips down the shoulders, down the lower back, through the knee into the ground, and that alignment carries the force, just like the tube of toothpaste. While you're doing it, I'll explain a little bit. Good. You know, sometimes you have a tube of toothpaste and there's a gap in the tube. You squeeze the bottom, nothing comes out. Yeah. We don't want a gap in our bodies. Or sometimes if you've got a tube of glue and it's all gone too hard and you squeeze, nothing comes out as well. We don't want our bodies to have a gap or a hole, and we don't want our bodies to be too tight either. So in the classics of Tai Chi, they say no holes, no protuberances, nothing sticking out, nothing hollow, so that the force from the ground can immediately come through the body like a river. Okay, but the body doesn't move, the force comes through the body. This is what we want to do. So there's a wave of force that comes through, and instead of lifting the body actually relaxes onto it. Think of a cork in the water that's floating. When the wave comes, doesn't lift the cork off the water, the cork sits in the water and the force flows through. The parts of the body relax deeply and the force flows through. We can feel it when we touch the wall. Can everyone feel that in the wall? Give me a thumb if you can feel the pressure in the wall. Good. Because it's when we come to do the form, it's the same feeling you want in the body, but you don't feel it in the fingers because the fingers are just in the air, right? There's nothing to feel. But you can, when you touch the wall and you get that pressure, you can start to feel it. Yeah. Okay. So let's go through the form. Just up to single whip. And we'll just look at those places where there's force in the body. So the places we're going to look for, I'll just go through them quickly. The first movement of holding the ball. The back knee is going to expand ever so lightly here. The shoulder's going to relax downwards and the weight of the arm drops and the force comes into the hands. Now, if I was doing that against the wall, I'd feel the hands push into the wall. But in the form, I'm just going to feel the hands drift down slightly. Moving into ward off left, same thing. The back leg that's bent is going to expand slightly, and the circle of the arm is going to expand. Slight movement outwards as the back leg expands, but it doesn't push the body forwards. Tube of toothpaste. We've just done this one, ward off right. Same thing with this one, there's a turning movement. So instead of expanding, it turns the body. Roll back. Press, there's going to be an expansion, the back knee expands. And it turns into an upward movement, downward of the shoulder, upward of the elbows. Sit back, move in, and again a small expansion of the back leg comes into a push. Single whip, when we come into this posture here, there's a small expansion of the back leg, which expands into the left hand and into the straightening of the arm with the hook. This is squeezing the toothpaste out of the hands. So let's go from the beginning of the form. Soften the face, lower back. Just carry on a minute. I'm just going to close the door. Let's start from the beginning. Just trying to get someone in the other room to be a little bit quieter for us. Your best posture. Feel the feet, your most released posture. Quietening down and settling. Calming down the emotions. Settling the body. Becoming present. Down, the weight to the right foot. Gliding across, taking the weight to the left. Turn. Aiming upright, turn back. Settling. Coming back to that calm place. Use the legs. Turn. Left toes turning. Move to the left foot. Turn to open up the right toes and lift the right hand. Sink into the center. Now in the centrally stable position, you want to be nicely settled. And then a small push from the back foot. Back leg opens. The knee straightens lightly and the force comes through to the hands. Sink to the front foot and turn. Step left. Glide in. Sink and settle. Want to be in a position where there's no tension in the body feels nicely sunk and settled. Shoulders are relaxed. Body feels comfortable. Expand the back knee through to the left. Small increase in pressure in the back knee. Whole time the back knee is opening, the back leg is straightening, the arms are lifting. As soon as the back leg finishes, the arms stop. Sit back. Spin. Comfortable. Settle. Upright. Small push. Through to the hands. Release the fingertips. Sit back. So, drawing the right toes. Step out to 9 o'clock. Move into the 50-50. Square to 9 o'clock. Find your sunk, stable, connected position. Small increase from the back knee and the hands open. You'll have to experiment with how much force you push into the ground, how much force you use to open up this back leg. You want it to be minimum. Minimum means if you're on the beach, on a nice sandy beach, and your feet were resting in the sand, and push your back foot into the ground, and then you looked at your footprints, your back footprint wouldn't be a lot more than your front. It's not like a massive push that gets you hard onto the ground. It's a very slow, steady, soft increase into the back foot. And as a result, your knee opens up. Your leg lightly straightens. It's a smooth, continuous movement rather than a jerking movement. And you'll have to explore this for yourself. So you don't throw your center forwards. Enable yourself to sit into the posture, and the force then comes through you. You have to soften the lower back, soften the hips, soften the shoulders while the force comes through. It'll be something that over time makes more sense. Has anyone got any thoughts, questions, or observations? I know for a few that have done the form before, we've touched on this before. I just wanted to introduce it at this stage, because I think everyone's ready to work with this a bit as well. If anyone's got any questions or observations, I'd be happy to. If there aren't any, that's fine too. So I'm just kind of giving you some space if there is. Yeah. Maybe it's something, we need to do over weeks and just kind of get used to it and feel it. Because what gets in the way of the force that comes through are two things. One is tension in the body, if the legs are tight, or if the body isn't changing, if the body is held. And the other is the body's too loose. Okay, so there are two things that can get in the way. We want the body to be engaged, but not too soft. We want it to be engaged, but not too rigid. And it's somewhere between the two. So Taiji is always this balance of structure and looseness together at the same time. Let's carry on with the form. Just going to do a time check. Yeah, plenty of time. Let's carry on with the form. We're up to single whip. Let's carry on to the punch. So facing 9 o'clock, single whip with the left foot forwards, hips turned, center line between the feet, the weight nicely balanced, body upright, left hand in push position, right hook to 12 o'clock. Trickle the weight forwards onto the front foot, turning. Scooping with the hands, drawing in the right toes, sink, push out the right heel. No weight in the right heel. Drop the hands. Turn open. All the weight in the left. Turn back. Draw in the right toes. Step to 10:30 with the right. Sink into shoulder straight. Arriving in the center together. Turn to 12 o'clock, moving on to your front foot, your right foot. White crane, spread wings. All the way to 100% in the right foot. Drop the right hand at first. When the hands are level, turn the waist. Right hand palm down, turn back and fold both arms at the elbows, step left. Gliding 50-50. Arrive in the posture. Drop onto the left foot. Turn. Lift hands. All the way to 100%. Right foot. Turn open. Brush left knee. First step. Back. Turn onto the left foot. Drawing the right toes lift. Turn the hands, turn over. Place the right heel, walk onto it, turn in the waist. Draw the right fist palm up onto the right hip, the left hand to 9 o'clock. Step left, move in, square, sink, and punch. Remember that punch is straight ahead from the hip. Straight ahead from the hip, the wrist is turning as you punch. It's parallel with the ground and it's one span from the body. The arm is parallel to the ground, not in the center. Straight from the hip. The left palm covering the soft part of the right arm here. Do that last little move again. Brush left knee twist step number 2. The right hand is in push position. The left hand on the crease of the trousers. Centre line in the middle, waist square. Waist up. Back. Turn open the left toes to 8 o'clock. Move forwards onto the left foot, turning and dropping the right hand. So as you arrive on the left foot, the right hand drops, slide in the right toes. Lift just like the beginning of the form, but with it, the right knee is going to come up. Facing 8 o'clock and then return to 9 o'clock, turn to 10 o'clock, place the right heel. As I move forward onto the right foot, I'm still turning clockwise until all my weight is 100% in my right foot. Step left, within, square, and punch. Facing 9 o'clock. Again, push left knee twist step with the left foot forward, left hand by the thigh, right hand push position. Step back, take up to 8 o'clock. Move forward onto the left, turning and scooping with the right hand. Slide the right toes in, lift, turn. Place the right heel, turn the waist as you move onto the right foot. Step left, within, square. The hardest bit of this for me, is once you're in this position, you have to stay balanced and you're turning. So as you turn, your hands turn over and your right hand is going to go from palm down to palm up into a fist on the hip. It's going to turn this way. And as you walk onto your right foot, it continues to turn over to this position. So your right hand does that. And palm down on the center, it turns to there. So as my body turns, it turns over and it drops. And so it looks like the arm's doing this, moving from the left to the right. It's not. It's staying with the bodies because the body's turning and it just moves with the body. The arm's just going from that to that. My left hand is doing that. So my left hand is just doing that. It's staying where it is at the top. The elbow's dropping and it's turning to that position. When I turn my waist, it pushes the left hand forward and draws the right hand backwards, turning the waist. Not that the arm comes back by itself, it's that the waist turns, draws the hand back to the hip. And I step left, then sink. So the hardest part is here is to keep the balance. And the form says that you pick the knee up until the thigh is parallel with the ground. If that's difficult, you can just bring the foot onto the ball of the foot. You don't need to lift it in the air. You can just bring it to this position here. It'll give you a bit more stability. And then when you turn, you just have to turn the foot open to step onto the right. But if you can, lift, turn, place the heel, walk onto it. Step right, step left, move in, battle. Try it yourselves, please, from brush left knee twist step, and then we'll do the new move. I'm just going to have a sneaky look at everyone's moves. Yeah, good, David. That's good. Andrew, the fist is more on the hip rather than on the waist. Yes, a little lower. So when you turn here, draw the fist right to the hip rather than here. So it's a little bit lower. When it's lower, it means the muscles in the arm and the shoulder are more soft and relaxed rather than being held. When you turn, keep your left hand forwards. Don't bring it in here. So when you place the right foot down, as you move on to the right foot, let the left hand go forwards. And then when you move in, it's in the right place just to drop straight down onto here. So we don't want to be doing too many movements with the arm. So when you step with the right foot here, your left hand moves forwards as your waist turns. Step left, my left hand just drops now as I come in, and it ends up in the right place, covering the arm. Okay, good. Anything about that move you'd like to ask about? Okay, good. Let's have a look at the next move. I'll give you a little clue with this move. It's the same with all the movements of Tai Chi. What we tend to do is we tend to move the hands. And the movements want to come from the rolling and change of the shoulders. So all the movements of the hands, because the hands turn to this, they go from palm down to this, to turning over. It all comes from the rotation of the shoulder, not the movement of the hand. Because I can twist the hand, I can twist the two bones of the arm and get the hands to turn over. And it's done predominantly with the arm, but I want to keep the arm passive and relax the shoulder. The hand moves. Chen Manching, who was my teacher's teacher, said he had a dream once that he was doing his Tai Chi and he didn't have any arms. And he said from then onwards, he wasn't trying to do things with his hands. He was feeling it all come from the body changing and the shapes of the rolling of the chest and shoulders, not the movement independently of the hands. So see if you can feel when you move the hands that also you're getting some movement or some change at least in the upper body as well, rather than keeping the upper body passive and stuck in the same position. You want the upper body free to change and move as well. Okay. Next move. Have a look first. We're going to go from the punch into push. So from the punch, have a look first. I'll do it so you can see the whole move. In the punch, my left foot is forwards and I'm punching with my right arm. I fold, sit back, move in, and push. What's happening? First of all, my movement is going backwards and then forwards. I'm going from 50-50, sit back, move in, and push. Now the push is exactly the same as before in the form. In the form when we did it before, we had our right leg forwards when we pushed. So our left leg was slightly expanding to squeeze out through the fingers. When we do it the second time push, we've got the left foot forwards. Same thing, the right leg is slightly expanding through to the fingertips. Exactly the same, but both stances now with the left foot forwards. So from the punch, imagine someone's pushing on your arm. You let the arm fold. So someone can have this arm, they push on it, folds, gets out of the way. This arm here that was covering, I don't know what this bit of the body's called, it's soft and it's behind the other side of the elbow. Your hand's hovering over that part of the body. The thumb touches and the hand rolls underneath the elbow. So it's like your hand rolls underneath the elbow. And then as you draw back, your right forearm slides over your left hand. The hands separate when you come forward, and because the shoulders soften, hands turn over into push position. So you fold, you draw back, move in, and you push. I'll do it facing the direction of the form, which is 9 o'clock. Fold, draw back, in. Let's do it together on the punch. Put the thumb against the inside of the arm, wherever it touches on the inside of the arm here, so that you can turn. It's like the elbow is like resting in the palm. I don't know how to describe that move other than the left hand is rolling around and underneath. It's like you want to catch your elbow in your hand. It's at the top, you want to move it underneath and fold. As you fold, you release the fist, palm up. You sit back. This just draws through. It's like there's a tree trunk here, and your hands just draw apart. Move in, and the elbows drop into the push position. Punch, fold, draw back, move in, push. Let's do one. Yeah, question.
So when you come back across, the arm is coming across the midline of the body, or is your trunk?
Very, very good question, because there's a general rule that we don't cross the mid. What you don't want this gap to get closed, right? So you've got a fist distance here, you maintain that space. Because any time from a martial point of view, if your arm comes against your body and someone pushes here, you're stuck. But if you maintain that distance between your body and your arm here, if they were to push on you more, you've got room to move and to fold. But you don't ever want to get to a place where your arm is and your arm and your body are locked together. So when you fold here, don't bring your arm in close to your body. Fold with your arm one span away from the body the whole time. So you've got a gap in here. If I do it to the side, you'll see it better. There's a span distance here. When I fold, I maintain that distance. When I sit back, I maintain the distance. When I move in, I maintain the distance. I don't get in close to the body like this. That makes sense? Yeah, good. don't really want to be doing it with the arms. It's more the body moves, and the body sitting back pulls on the arms. Body movement is this sort of movement rather than this movement with the arms. It's not an army movement. It's much more the body. Think of the body. Draw back, move in. Going to add a little bit more. Okay. Once we've got to the push, I'm going to sit away from the fingertips. I'll do it facing this way. I push. I sit away from the fingertips and I turn. The right hand comes straight across. I move on to the left foot. The hands open out. I drop the arms, cross hands. So I'm going to do the whole move back here so you can see it. I'm going to do it facing this way so you can see what I'm doing with my arms. From the punch, fold, draw back, thinking, and push. And the form this would be facing 9 o'clock. I sit away from the fingertips. As I turn, all my weight is in the right. The left toes come in. My right hand, the thumb, touches the center of the chest. The weight is in the right foot. I move to the left foot and the hands open out. I drop onto the left foot and step right, cross hands. I'll do it facing the way we do it in the form, which is 9 o'clock. Fold, draw back, big, and push. Step away from the fingers. I'm going to turn now to 12 o'clock. Turning to 12 o'clock, all the weight in the right foot. Move the weight to the left foot, the hands open out to the corners. Drop the arms, step up, feet parallel, cross hands. Cross hands, the feet are parallel, shoulder width, hands across throat height with a nice span between the elbows, not down here, nice and up with the big circle. The right hand on the outside, the right hand on the outside, cross hands. Do that together from the punch, fold, the left hand turning round underneath the right elbow, sit back, draw the right arm through the left hand, ring to push, feet haven't changed. Leave the fingertips behind, the feet haven't changed, and now with all my weight in the right foot, and the weight arrives in the right foot, turn. Bring the left toes in, so now the left toes face 12 o'clock. The right hand is on the center of the chest. Move the weight without stopping the turn. Move the weight to the left foot and open up right arm, pivoting on the ball of the right foot. There's no weight in the right foot. Drop the arms, step parallel as the hands cross. The right foot touches as the hands cross. Again, from the punch, fold, draw back, bing, leave the fingertips behind, sit back, all the weight in the right foot, turn. Bring the left toes in, pivoting on the heel. Right hand, thumb is on the center of the chest, all the weight is 100% in the right foot. Without stopping that turn, keep turning clockwise. The weight goes back to the left foot, the right hand opens out, pivot on the ball of the right foot as the weight leaves the right foot. The hands are out to the corners. 11 o'clock and 1 o'clock. Drop the arms, and as the hands lift, step. So the dropping of the arms is down and down, and so they reach their maximum length across. Up to the next one. So as they drop here, the right is on the inside, and then as they lift, the right comes to the outside. I don't know if that's difficult to see on Zoom, but as the arms drop, the right is on the inside, left on the outside, and as they come up, now the right is on the outside. As drop, the right is on the inside, right is on the inside, the left on the outside. As they come up, the right is on the outside. You sit away from the fingertips and turn the left toes coming line. The left foot is facing straight ahead. All the weight is in the right, and the right thumb is on the center of the chest. And with the weight to the left foot and keep turning, the hands open out. As the weight leaves the right foot, a pivot on the ball of the foot. The hands are to the corners. Drop the arms. And as the arms lift into position, step right, parallel 50-50 weight, cross hands. And that is the first third of the form. So approximately the first third of the form. The good news is that many of those moves are repeated, and many of the principles of those moves are repeated in different postures. So they say in the form there are 37 different moves, and a lot of them are in the first third of the form. So that's a really good, I'm just doing a time check, 2 minutes to go. So if you wanted to unmute and congratulate yourself for getting to the first third of the form. Not everybody gets there. If you're doing the form again for the second time, you'll know how much more there is, and you'll know what sort of quality you've got on that section of the form compared to the bits we haven't done the second time through. So the detailing going into this section is much more than we've done than the next section of the form, and we will carry on with the rest of the form. Good. Any thoughts to there?
No, only that it is different going through it again, because some things I might have thought I was doing correctly. It was my sort of own version, but yeah, so you can see, makes more sense.
Yeah, good. It gives you time to understand it in a different way, doesn't it? Yeah, going through it again and noticing, oh, I'm doing that when I do it. I'm doing it with my arms. I'm not feeling my shoulders. I'm not feeling this thing. Oh, I can let go a bit more there. You get more different things take place when you do it deeper, do it again. Sue, how is it doing the form after 30 years? Because me and Sue were in the same class many years ago in Cardiff. It was really nice to see Sue back again doing some Tai Chi. I can't hear you. You're on mute. I can't hear you. No, still on mute. There's a little I don't know if I can unmute everybody from here.
Ah, that should have worked this time.
There we go. Got you.
Yes.
Got you.
Yes. I've forgotten a lot of it, most of it.
Yeah.
Need to spend much more time practicing, but because I'm retiring in September at last.
Oh, fantastic. Well done. Yeah. Right. Right.
So you won't be running down the corridor at 6 o'clock.
You won't be doing that come September. I hope you're not doing that come September, or there'll be trouble.
Shouldn't be.
Fantastic. Right. Good. Well, there's the new move for you. Have a go with it. See how you get on with it. Any questions, ask me next week. And have a good practice this week, and we'll see you soon.
Good night all.
Bye. Thanks a lot.
Bye.